All right, the first question, it says in 2016, and this worksheet is all on population growth. We've never really done anything like it, so it's a little different. It says that in 2016, PHS had 1965 students. By 2020, the student body grew to 2178. Assuming the population grows linearly, answer the following. So we need to determine the rate at which PHS is growing. And we need to determine how many students will there be in 2024 and what year will PHS have 2,600 students. So because it says it's growing linearly, that means we can create a table. And our table is going to have time, so it's going to have years. And then it's going to have the population. So we have to first start with what we know. What we know, and this is going to go into our table, that in 2016, we had 1965 students. So I can put that in my table. So this is X, this is Y. That's an X and a Y. And then I know that by 2020, it grew to 2178. So we need to figure out how to fill in our table. To do this, we have to figure out what the change is. So we have to figure out the rate. The rate is how much it's increasing each year. The rate. Rate is the number we have to figure out the number it's increasing each year. So to do that, we can figure out, we need to figure out the change in years and the change in population on each side. So what is the change in years from 2016 to 2020? How many years are changing? So there's an increase of 4 years. And then what is the increase in population? It goes from 1965 to 2178. 213? Okay. So to figure out the rate, we're going to take those two numbers. And if it increases 213 in 4 years, how could we figure out how much it increases in just 1 year? So to figure that out, we're going to take the population and divide by that change. So we're going to take 213 and we're going to divide it by 4. Can we have half people? So we're gonna have to say that it's increasing by 54 each year. And so it says, how many students are there gonna be in the year 2024? Well, that's an easy one because we just need to add 4. And we would have 2024. And over here, that means we just need to add 213. Do what? No, we're gonna have to add, it will be 2178 plus 200. What do we get? Very good. Says, what year will PHS have 2,600 students? I don't know. So to figure that out, I could keep going by 4s and see if I could get close. If I add another 200, so that's 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm gonna get really close if I add 4 more years and add another 213, but I can try, that might be enough. So in 2024, if I add 4, it would be 2028. And then if I add 213, how many do I get? Hmm. So yes, in 2028, I will have at least 2,000 student or 2,600 students. The year before that, so remember, if I'm changing by 54 students each year, the year before that, so 2027, would I have 2,600 students yet? No. So this was actually nice. That's actually the first year that I will have at least 2,600 students. You have 2 more problems on this page. They solve the same way. So the only difference is sometimes you have to increase by 1 year each time. But you guys are going to work on these problems, the ones on the front page. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to, to work on the front page.
So with the population, you subtract it, you don't get the, or like the rest of it. Is that how you did it?
With the population, you subtract it, what do you mean?
Like how you got the 213, how'd you get that?
Yeah, finding the difference.
You so you checked it in.
Yeah. For question number 2, how much are you adding every 2 years? And so how much are you adding every year? Do what? How much are you adding every year?
8,000.
That's every 2 years.
Oh.
So how much are you adding each year?
4,000.
So, we should have been able to figure out the population in 2025. Now, to figure out the population, when it's gonna be 9,600 or 96,000, that's quite a few years. And so you don't have to just add by 1 year at a time. You don't have to add just by 2 years at a time. You could take and you could add 4 years at a time to get close enough to 96,000 to make it a little easier for yourself. So you can take your rate and you can double it, which means you'd be adding every 2 years. You can multiply by 4, and that's adding every 4 years. So it's totally up to you how you want to make that table. So you should have been able to get pretty close to finished with the second problem. So I'm going to give you some more time to work on the third problem, because my guess is that you didn't finish both of them. These problems take a little bit of time. So here's 10 more minutes to do question number 3. We still have the whole left side, but before we get to that side. We can take a break, it's Monday, I don't want to be there any more than you can. So this is a video that a student asked about watching, so remember that you can get bonus points for giving me ideas for a brain break. Well, good job, little guy. You made it. Okie dokie, we're gonna flip over onto the back. So on the back side, it says that Floresville Independent School District had 24,508 students enrolled in 2018. So we're gonna do the same kind of thing. We've got the year and the population. So it says that in 2018, I have about 24,000, and then, and then it says in 2010. So we have to be careful because that one needs, this happens first. And then this happens second. So I'm gonna put it in my table like that. So we've got 2010. And then we have 2018. So in 2010, there was 20,148. And then in 2018, we had 24,508. So we're gonna do the same thing where we figure out the difference. I know that from 2010 to 2018, I'm adding 8 years. So in 8 years, how much am I adding? How much?
456.
Okay, so I'm also gonna jot that down under the rate. So I am adding 4,360 in 8 years. And now I'm gonna figure out how much I add in 1 year. So to figure out how much I add in 1 year, I can take that 4,360 divided by 8. So how much am I adding each year?
Of 145,
How much?
545.
Okay, so how many students will there be in 2026? To get to 2026, I'm starting at 2018. I can probably start adding by 8 years. I don't need to add each year. So I can add 8 years. And that means that I will have to add what do I get? So is that correct, what I wrote?
Mhm.
Okay. So now to get to get to 30,000. Well, I'm already at 28. If I add another 4,000, I'm gonna be well over that. So I'm gonna have to start adding per year to get there, I believe. So I can add 1 year. And in 1 year, I'm gonna add 545. So how much will I have in 2027? How much will I have in 2027?
Would you be for, getting probably,
Say it one more time.
Hmm?
Say that one more time.
I need that one.
Oh, how do I get that number? Okay, so if I have this much, if I add another 4,000, that would be like 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. That's more than 30,000, right? So I'm not gonna add by 8 years. I'm gonna add by 1 year. So remember here, we figured out that every year we add 400 or 545. So each year you add 545, but in 8 years you add 4,000. So I'm gonna add each year and see when is the first year that I get 30,000. So instead of adding by 8 years, I'm gonna add it 1 year at a time because I think that adding by 8 years, it's too much. So I'm gonna start with 1 year. And so I'm gonna take that number and I'm just gonna add 545 to that.
Right?
So in 2027, how much will I have? Ooh, that's getting close. So now I'm gonna go to 2028. And I'm gonna add another year, and so I'm gonna have to add another 545. That might be pretty close. In 2028, how much will I have?
29,958.
Shoot, not enough. So I'm gonna have to add one more year.
30,100.
So when will I have 30,000 students? In 2029. There are 2 more problems to do on the back.